The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
There's another person inside of you. A healthy person. A fit person screaming to get out. Time Fitness will help you find that fit person. Time Fitness clients eat to live, not live to eat. 95% of you dream of a flat stomach but have no clue on how to make that happen. Time Fitness is the master of making that stomach disappear. Want to look younger? Time Fitness. Isn't it time you take care of you? Contact us now for a free 2-pound protein powder meal replacement, 2 free guest passes, 1-time free Time Fitness t-shirt. Each client gets personal training guide and workout journal. Time Fitness will help you live a healthy lifestyle and improve your quality of life. www.tymefitness.com 773-458-5084. Living out of town? No problem. Time Fitness can still work with you each month. Ask us how. Time Fitness. www.timefitness.com.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday to everyone. Welcome to Dhat Girl. I am your host, Sholanda, and I am here this morning just to encourage you guys and to motivate you to tap into that inner person that's on the inside of you, that person that God created, that person that was there all along, the person that was there, the purpose and destiny for your life that God created, but life began to come your way at an early age, and life took you off focus, and you began to make different decisions that really was not according to your purpose and the plan that God has for your life. But guess what, you guys? It is never too late to get back up and to get moving and to move all of the obstacles out of your way and to get on track, to get in your purpose, to walk in your season. And that's what we're doing on Saturday morning, just talking to each other and motivating one another to pull out that purpose that God has created you for, to pull out that vision and that plan that God put on the inside of you from the creation in your mother's womb. You were predestined for greatness. You were predestined to do things that God has called and ordained for you to do in your life. So look, you all, get your coffee, get your tea, get your muffins, your bacon, whatever it is that you're enjoying on this morning, and just sit down and let's just talk this morning. Give me some feedback, give me some heart, share these conversations that we have if they're a blessing to you, because I want people to know that yes, there is a greatness on the inside of you. That inkling that you have, it's not just you feeling a certain kind of way. That is creation on the inside of you. That is purpose and destiny trying to manifest itself through you. So you all be encouraged, as I always say, to know who you are, whose you are, and why you were created, to know that there is nothing that you cannot do because God has already put it on the inside of you. There's nothing that you're purposed to do that you cannot do because God has already put it down on the inside of you. You were created for your destiny. You were created for your purpose. I can't fulfill your purpose, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. You can't fulfill mine, but only that which God makes will last. Only that which God creates and God does, it is good. So I want to leave you all and encourage you all that if you don't get anything else from this conversation on this morning, to know that you have everything that you need on the inside of you to carry out that plan and that vision that you think that you have, but it really is God revealing unto you that girl that's on the inside of you. You guys, I had a wonderful productive, busy week on this week. So much happened. It was the first week that we actually opened because school started back. So we had to, iron out some kinks with our communication. For me this week, I don't know what happened, y'all. I was just kind of like off track this week with my communication, and some things happened, but thank God for favor. I'm glad that things worked out and we made it through the 3 days that we had to go through. And this week I'm planning and I'm getting it together the right way. But I'm saying all that to say, you all, when you get into your purpose, I say it all the time, it is not just what you think. It's not a walk in the park. But guess what? Like I said, what you need to carry it out, you already got it. It's on the inside of you. Just take time to think about it. I've been reading this book, The Power of Discipline. The Power of Discipline. A friend of mine shared with me that she had shared this book with her son. It's by Daniel Walter. This is a good read because we need discipline. If I was more disciplined, my first 3 days would not have gone as chaotic as they did go. If I had pre-planned and did some things that I failed to do, then things would have ran a little bit smoother. That's how you're going to get through and get to your next. You have to exercise discipline on all levels, be it the amount of sleep that you get, be it the type of food that you're eating, how you structure your day, how you structure your plans, how you write them down, how you execute them. It's about discipline, you all. Discipline yourself and your spending habits. This is really, really the key to your success, being disciplined, because you can know a whole lot of things, but if you don't know how to carry it out, if you don't know how to have discipline yourself, nope, I can't do that. I can't go there. I can't allow that person to come. I can't. It's going to have to begin to be a part of your vocabulary. It doesn't mean that you're failing, but it means that you're setting some things in order. I can't. I will not. No, sorry, not able to. Those are words that's going to begin to be a part of your vocabulary when you're walking in the power of discipline. The power of discipline, when you do things and you realize, man, I got me a little system going on here. And okay, you get it's a good feeling when you're doing things in order, when you're disciplined, when you're not just gullible and just going for anything. You're not just falling for anything that comes your way. You're disciplined to say, no, let me think about it. You're disciplined to say, no, I'm not going to be able to do it. You're disciplined to tell yourself, okay, you got to get this together. You talk to yourself. And these are things that I'm learning through this book. It is really good to have your routine, your nightly routine, your morning routine. These are things that is going to take us into our place, you all, of prosperity, and to our place of purpose and our destiny. Do you some things on purpose. Create some order on purpose, because it is so needed. It is so needed. Listen, my heart is really heavy this morning concerning our children. If you have a child, if you do not have a child, if you have a prayer life, if you know who God is and the power of his might, then I need you all, if you're not already, to bombard the heavens on behalf of our children. I sit here and I advertise my books every week, and I talk about prayer, the ABCs of prayer, and we've given them the letters, we've given them illustrations, we've given them scriptures, we've given them activities to do, um, fill in the blank, coloring pages, things to help them to learn how to intercede for one another and how to go to God in prayer on their own behalf. It is so necessary in this season, you all, that we drill it in our children. That if we don't, like, we force them to eat their vegetables so they can be healthy and strong, we have got to position and plan out prayer time. Plan out time when you're going to sit with your kid and you're going to teach them how to pray. So you're going to sit with your kid and you're going to teach them the word, and you're going to show them how to apply the word, and you're going to tell them what it means to have the word of God on the inside of them. We're going to teach our kids about the Holy Spirit. We're going to teach our kids about the greatness of God that's on the inside of them. That's the only way our babies are going to make it through these times in their lives, in their productivity, in their growth process right now, because the enemy is coming to steal, kill, and to destroy that girls and our little boys. He's coming to stagnate and to hinder that girls. Let me make that plain. He's coming to cause our children to make decisions that's going to take them off track from their purpose. The adversary is setting traps and plans of attack for our children in their minds, their bodies, and their souls. If the enemy can get the mind of our children through these games, I'm praying for wisdom for the parents, that we will monitor what it is that our children are listening to and watching, and who they're around, that as parents and as leaders, that we will be mindful of what we say and what we do and how we carry our life. This thing right here, discipline, will save your child's life. If you're living a disciplined life, if you're showing them in their home what structure is like, if you're showing them in their home what it means to, when a teacher says sit down, you have to be disciplined enough to sit down. When it's time for you to for them to focus on what is being taught and imparted into them in school by the instructors, that their mindset will be disciplined enough to sit and to do it. If you don't sit with your kid and have them to read to you at home, if you don't sit with your kid and help them with math to the best of your ability, because this math this year, now it's kind of tricky for me. But if you don't sit to the best of your ability, you can Google everything. You can YouTube everything. Take the time out is what I'm saying. Put the work in with your own kids. Put the time in so that when it comes to them reaching their expected ends, when it comes time to them reaching and walking in their expected purpose and their things that God created them to do, that it will give them a chance not to be so thrown off focus. I tell you all, I have a grandson, and I'm not just saying it because he's my grandson, but he is so smart. He reads, he reads, he reads. He loves all kinds of books. To talk to him, sometime I have to really check myself sometime, because he'll throw a word out at me. And I found myself a couple of times, I'll look up the word and oh, he really knew what that meant. One of my other grandsons, he said, Grandma, he called me a name and he didn't even know what the name meant. So I can't remember what it was. But I said, what did he call you? So I looked it up. And the meaning, I said, were you moving around when he said it? Were you jumping all over the place? He said, yeah. I said, well, he knew what he was saying to you, but it's not right to call you out of your name. But I'm saying all of that to say his vocabulary. Our children are on different levels, you all. And if we pay attention to that, if we nurture that, then that will help our kids to excel to their next level. Now you have some kids who's not getting that. This is why we have got to pray, because their kids are being exposed to all kind of things. Kids are being exposed to all kind of stuff in their homes, on the street, on the TV screens, on these computers, on their phones. They're privy to TikTok, all of the reels that come up. When I tell you all, it is strongholds, it is traps of the enemy that is set to bring our kids in and take them off of their focus and their destiny. I am passionate about this because I know what God is going to do through our children. And I know what would have happened for me if I had what I'm telling you all that we need to do for our children. I just believe that what I would have gotten to my place and my purpose a little bit faster, that I would not have had to endure as much as I had to endure as a young lady if I had what I'm telling you all to do, someone to be right there and to just to walk me through life. We're just throwing our kids. Some of us are just throwing our kids out into life. Okay, you're supposed to go into sixth grade now, but you just send them to school. You don't prepare them. You got to prepare them for their next phase. You have to prepare them for their next level. Just as we have to be prepared for what we see that's coming ahead. There's so much going on in the world right now. If we don't be prepared in our mind, if we don't be prepared with discipline, if we don't get ourselves in order, we're gonna miss it, or we're gonna be succumb to things that we will not be able to make it through without huge, humongous hardships. So we owe it to our children to feed them what they need, give them the tools to fight when they go out into this world, because they're wrestling against spirits of wickedness that we have not even, me, shall I say, have not even heard of. Now, I was brought up probably more or less a more sheltered young lady, or I've always been a laid back to myself kind of person. But those things that did come my way, I didn't know how to handle it because nobody ever told me about it. I watched my siblings and what they did. So how they handled it and what they did, that's just how I thought it was supposed to be. I love all of my children. I love all of my grandchildren. But I don't think I would have had them the way that I had them if someone was paying me some attention. If when I came home from school, someone actually said, "How was my day?" I didn't get that. I had so many kids. I mean, so many older siblings. I was the baby girl out of 11 children. But I didn't get that. People would say, "Hey, good morning, how you doing, whatever." But nobody ever sat down to talk to me to see what happened to me today. I'll never forget, and this is a real transparent moment. I went, I cut school and I went to a young man's house. Well, from there, my virginity was taken. From there, I was in a really bad sunken place because I didn't have anyone to go home and talk to. I can remember that I went to a friend's house and I talked to her mom, my best friend, and I talked to her mom. This is real life, you all. Our girls will be finding themselves in situations. You'll say, "Why did I cut school?" That's what everybody else around me was doing. And I didn't have, nobody really watching over me like that. I was sent to school, and mama made sure, that I came home from school. But we have got to, for that reason alone, watch our girls. And that's where it started for me. That's where what I saw at the time as my downfall began, when my innocence was taken from me, when I innocently thought I just had this guy who, just liked me. And I put myself in a position alone in his home. So many of our girls are experiencing this. And I'm sharing this because let's put a stop to all of this hurt, this self-hurt that our children are causing themselves. But it's self-hurt out of ignorance. It's self-hurt because they really don't get it. They really don't get the fullness of it. Even after we tell them, we have to march over them and monitor. You know how when you teaching a kid how to write their name, how to identify themselves, you tell them and you show them, but you have to stand over them and we watch them. Okay, no, you have to do it this way. That's an uppercase, that's a lowercase. So you have to keep telling them. So we have to, although you tell your kids, you say, "I told them," did you monitor them? Did you watch them? Did you watch their mood changes? I don't even think the day when I went home, the evening, if I even saw my mom, um, she was, my mom, she wasn't well a lot of times, but I don't even think she paid attention to me when I came home. I had just been taken advantage of, and my mom didn't even notice it. None of my older siblings, they didn't even notice it. How many of our kids, you all, have been exposed? How many of our kids have been hurt? How many of our kids have been threatened? My grandson, I'm talking to you all from my heart today because it is our duty as grandparents and parents to pay attention to our children, to help them, because a lot of them are hurting people because they are hurt. A lot of our kids are doing things because they are confused. So we have to help them in these areas. My grandson, who's in fourth grade, he was in the washroom the other day at school, and there was a fight. And the little boy gave my grandson the phone and said, "Video." Well, my grandson said he cut the video off, and he didn't video it. Well, after the fight was over, the boy came to get his phone, and my grandson didn't video it. So the guy, now he turns on my grandson, and he's trying to fight him. But thank God a teacher came into the washroom to stop it. But the guy, the little boy, he called my grandson, a really vulgar name, and called him, he's scary, this, that, or whatever. But they got to be taught. I told my daughter, my grandson should have known you're going into the washroom to use the washroom, wash your hands, and get out of the washroom. You're not in there to watch a fight. If somebody try to give you your phone, give you their phone, the video, so you have to explain to him that's a crime you're committing. You can get in trouble for standing there videoing somebody being hurt. We got to teach him. So I'm not telling you all something that's not even happening to me and in my family. We have got to be there. We've got to be hands on with our kids. I thank God for the prayers that we send out. I thank God for my prayer is what saves my grandson. I truly do believe it, because what if he had videoed, and what if something happened to the other kid? I'm a what if person. When something happened, I have to control my what ifs, because I'd be like, oh my God, what if it could have, it would, it should, it could. No, but I thank God for giving him the instinct to cut the video off. I thank God for sending the teacher into the bathroom in time. But we need to teach our kids. He needs to be taught. Yeah, we teach him defend yourself, but we also have to teach them don't put yourself in certain positions. Don't put yourself in that situation. When you see a fight in the bathroom, you go in there, you see a fight. If you can hold it, turn around, ask the teacher, can you go down the hall to another bathroom? Something we have to teach our kids, defense mechanism, things that when they encounter certain scenarios, do role plays with your kids instead of sitting up just eating, and you on your phone and they on their phone, and or you're watching some movie and they're playing their games. Sit down and do some interactions with your kids. So some scenarios. If this happened, how are you going to respond to this? If that happened, how are you going to respond to that? I'm telling you all, this is how we're going to get our children back. This is how we're going to keep them safe. Yes, prayer works. That is my motto. If you see it here in the corner of my book, prayer works. But we also have to work. We also have to put in the work with our kids so that they will not miss their purpose in their life. So many men, smart little boys, are behind prison doors because they made poor judgment, because they were in position in the wrong place at the wrong time, because they're hanging out with the wrong group of people. Who are who's your kids' friends? Nowadays, you can't just let them, like my granddaughter, she likes to talk on the phone, and they like to do these group phone calls, and they even like to play the game together live. They can play the game with each other without even being in the same room. But you have to pay attention when they're on that phone. Put the phone on speaker so I can hear what you're saying. You want them to have friends. You want them to be able to communicate, but we have got to show them and have to teach them. Excuse me, y'all, I have such issues with my sinuses lately. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But we have to teach our kids. We have to pay attention. We have to listen to what they're doing. We have to listen to their conversation. Do they know how to have a conversation with someone? We can't just assume. Going in and talking on the phone to your friend, and you hear them, some of the things these kids are saying and talking about, you better be privy to what your kid is listening to. This is the real life that our kids are encountering. So we cannot just send them off. I beg of you all, please Pay attention to your kids. Please pay attention to your grandkids. If you're a teacher, please, I know you have a lot on your plate. Take time out to notice the demeanor of your kids. Take time out to notice when they come in the house if their heads are hanging down, or when they're sitting in a classroom if they have weariness in their eyes, if they have fear on their face, because your face will talk. They're trying to talk, but they're afraid to tell. That's another thing. We have to encourage our kids. You can always talk to me. You can always tell me anything. So a lot of times they may tell you some things that's going to be mind blowing. You can't blow. You got to think through it. You can't always get upset with them. And like I'm saying with my grandson, I had to catch myself from saying, "Why would you hold the phone? You don't take no." I had to bring that back down. I'm glad you were okay. I'm glad that you use your brain and you didn't video it. I started to pull out the positive things before I went into teaching. It's not always negative, but it's just areas that we have to teach them and to show them. We got to know, you all, who they're befriending. We have to know. I go back again. Nobody knew that I was 16 going to meet a 19-year-old man. It was a man at 19, young man. Nobody knew, because I guess it was assumed that I was responsible, and I did, because I was quiet. Those are the ones you have to watch, your quiet kids. Because I was quiet, I guess they thought I was okay. Because I went to church every Sunday. They used to call me little missionary in church. I've always been the way I am today. That's how I was even as a young child. Thank God that he had his hand on my life. You have to watch even your good kids, because distractions are coming. Influences are coming. We have got to encourage them and then pray. We have got to teach them and then pray that our teaching and our encouragement and our love will be enough to help them to make the right choices. You all, I just felt that this morning in my heart, because so much is going on, and I'm not going to continue to sit back on my watch and allow our kids to just be destroyed. The kids that I have in under my care, I'm starting a whole new routine with them. We will pray. We will study the word. We will talk. We will have let's talk about it sessions. Or whatever my assistant decides to call it, tea time, all these different things. But whatever it's going to take for us to get them to understand that they have someone that they can talk to. It is so important. It is so important. So listen, you all, time is really rolling on. I'm almost out of time. I hope you all have been blessed by the book. Get this book. Get this book. The Power of Discipline is going to help us. It's going to help us. And I want you all to also get the books for your children. These sell for $25 for the set, $20 for the hardback colored copy, and $10 for the activity book. Get these books, get these tools. And I also want to remind you all that the Source grant is called Source, SOURCE grant, is out, and it's for small businesses. I think they're giving out at least up to 10,000, between 10,000 and $20,000. You all you need is a few pieces of identification to apply. But get out there, look it up. Don't be afraid, because God is a God that if he show it to you, if he gives you the vision, then he can very well afford to sponsor it, to pay for it, to help you to carry out what it is that he has put on the inside of you. So the deadline, they moved the deadline from the 18th to now it's the 25th. So go in, look it up, the Source grant, SOURCE grant. And I guarantee you, it's for small businesses. Don't be afraid. Again, know it. Put it out there, decree it, pray over it, and believe that God is going to give you what it is that you need through that source through that grant. So you all, I hope you have enjoyed this morning. Remember, pay attention to your children. Find some time, some energy to sit down with them every day, every night. Find out what's going on with them, not just what's coming out of their mouth. Look them in their eyes and pick it up. Discern it. God will show you what it is that you'll need to know about your child. But we have to put ourselves in a position to be able to hear them. You all, I have been your host, Sholanda, and I hope you all again have received something from this segment. Come back out with me next Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. We will be right here doing the same thing that we do, sharing, uplifting, motivating each other to walk out and walk into our purpose, to walk into that girl that God has created for us to be. Enjoy your Saturday morning. Sun is shining. Looks like a great day. Enjoy yourself, and I will see you all next week, the same time. Later.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, and iNetworks